Hello, everyone. It is Friday. Yes, happy Friday. It is June 24th, 2016. At high noon, there was a lot of NBA draft stuff last night because the NBA draft was last night. A lot of stuff going on nationally, some big deals. Not a lot going on with the Bulls, and I'll get to that when we get to that. But let's go. Alright, so why don't we just start from the top? Philly took Ben Simmons. No real surprise. It was leaked a couple days ago. LA took Brandon Ingram. Well, 1 and 2 was going to be some combo of Simmons and Ingram, so this is no surprise. Number 3, the should be Brooklyn pick, except Boston has it because Brooklyn's front office went off the deep end a couple years ago. Boston picked Jaylen Brown. Now, this was a pick that Boston was not expected to hold on to going into this draft. Philly and Chicago were in some sort of bidding war over this. Or at least it was that way until it fell on deaf ears all of a sudden on draft night, and Celtics don't have Jimmy Butler or Nerlens Noel. The only concrete deal I had seen, was from ESPN, and it had said 2 picks in the late first round of the 2016 draft from Philly, Nerlens Noel, and I think it was Robert Covington, which isn't that big a package for the 3rd pick. I think Jimmy Butler would have been a much happier package for the 3rd pick in the draft, but Gar Forman didn't want to part ways with Jimmy and send him to Boston, I guess. The deal from Boston just wasn't good enough. And I don't know if you can hear that, but there's somebody mowing. One of my neighbors is mowing their lawn. But anyway. And then the big winners of the night. Phoenix Suns. They had 4, and they took Dragon Bender. They were expected to take a guy from Washington by the name of Marquise Chris. They wound up getting him anyway. Sacramento took him with the 8th pick and promptly traded him to Phoenix. Now, it is important that it is said that nothing that happens on draft night is actually final until the 1st of July. Because that's when everything opens in the offseason and stuff can actually happen. So these are all proposed until the 1st of July. So Phoenix gets 2 forwards they want, and considering their front court consists of Alex Len and Tyson Chandler, that's awesome. And then if you go down to the 2nd round, they got Scalabrine, and in the actual 2nd round, they got Tyler Ulis. And this is a guy that would be a top 10 pick in the 1st round, but he's small. If Tyler Ulis was 6'3", he would have been in the top 10, if not top 5. And that's kind of sad, but it's a true fact of basketball. I just think Ulis is a much better player than some of the people that got taken ahead of him. I really do. I'm really high on Tyler Ulis. He scored at Kentucky. I think he's a great guard. Do I think he's the best guard to come out of there? No. I think Devin Booker might be. Well, obviously John Wall, but under him, probably Devin Booker. And then maybe Tyler Ulis. I think Ulis is a phenomenal guard. I was really impressed by him last year. If I were the Bulls, I would have taken a shot on Ulis if I didn't get any other picks. So then you go to number 5. Minnesota supposedly and I'll talk about this more when we get to the Bulls pick. The Bulls were in heavy pursuit of this pick, which wound up being Chris Dunn out of Providence. And Thibodeau really wants Jimmy Butler. And Butler, I think, wants to be with Tom Thibodeau, because if you listen to all the stuff Jimmy Butler said about not being coached hard enough and some of this other stuff, it's all talking about wanting to be back with Thibs and that Thibs shouldn't have left. So, yeah. It made sense for both sides, I think. The only hang-up was Minnesota wanted to give number 5 and Ricky Rubio. The Bulls wanted number 5 and Zach LaVine. And at least on Twitter, I saw things on the Minnesota side saying, wait a minute, we didn't get Jimmy Butler over Zach LaVine. And on Chicago side, and me personally, wait, we didn't get the number 5 pick over Zach LaVine. So apparently, he's a kid that's worth a lot. And props to the NBA if they know better than we do, which I'm sure they do. But I don't know. I like Chris Dunn. I was really hoping we could get Chris Dunn. I think it's a better fit for Jimmy Butler in Minnesota just because of Tom Thibodeau. And I think if Thibodeau had gotten Jimmy Butler in Minnesota, Minnesota could actually be something in the West. I don't think Chris Dunn makes you something in the West right now. But Jimmy Butler certainly does. And supposedly, after the pick was made, Minnesota was still trying to get Foreman to take the deal. They were still seriously talking after pick 5, which is good, but nothing ever got done. New Orleans at number 6 takes Buddy Hield. Great shooter. Okay. Denver takes Jamal Murray, first Kentucky player off the board. Jamal Murray's really good. He's a really good shooter, not the best defender in the world. Sacramento got Marquise Chris, then traded him. Jacob Poeltl from Utah. I don't really have much to say about this because I didn't want to watch Pac-12 basketball. I do have something to say about this one. Milwaukee Bucks at 10 take Thon Maker. Thon is a high school kid. He technically, by some loopholes, was able to enter the draft because he had a postgraduate year of high school play last year. So, it wasn't really determined where he was going to go. You saw some stuff where he was really high, and then you saw some stuff where he was quite low, almost at the end of the first round. Milwaukee took a flyer on him at 10, and I have no problem with this at all. You got a kid who's 19, who's big, who can dunk, who can move. I think he's going to be a good player. It's just the age factor kind of scared some teams away. And just like Ulysses height, I don't know if that's necessarily fair to them, or to him, excuse me. But I think Milwaukee's going to get a decent player. I personally like him. 11 in Orlando. Oh boy. So this one got interesting. The pick was Domantas Sabonis, the big man from Gonzaga. And then the Magic sent Victor Oladipo, Ersan Ilyasova, and draft rights to 11, so wound up being Sabonis, for Serge Ibaka. Now, I like Serge Ibaka. I really, really do. I'm on Domantas Sabonis. I don't like him. I don't love him. I don't hate him. Ersan Ilyasova, I don't know much about. I'll be frank. Victor Oladipo, I do like. And I'm not really quite sure what Orlando is gaining in trading what I thought was the face of their franchise. I'm not from Orlando. I'm from Chicago. So I really have no idea, but I thought Oladipo was the face of that franchise. For Serge Ibaka, for an aging stretch four. So I'm guessing they're really betting on Evan Fournier to be their big time too. And what about Aaron Gordon? Are you going to have Serge play center and Gordon play power forward, which is what I think they would do? I don't know. So Orlando makes that trade. I'm going to go ahead and say the Thunder look like the winners of this deal because the Thunder are now going to have a legitimate two-guard in Oladipo. And if perhaps Kevin Durant comes back, look at Western Conference. This could be a better team even than before. I think if they had Oladipo, they might have beaten Golden State. They might have been able to put him away because you wouldn't have a monstrous gap at that position. 12 and 13, Utah took Taurean Prince. I don't really know who that is, I'll be completely honest with you. If you read his scouting report, he wasn't in some people's top 30s like Chad Ford. So, okay. Phoenix took Georgios. Not going to try that. Papagiannis, I guess. He's a center from Greece. According to Chad Ford, he's a back-to-the-basket scorer. So, that's great. That pick got traded to Sacramento. So, that's fine. Good luck, Kings. And then the Bulls. Oh, boy. So, nothing happened with the Bulls. They didn't get 3. They didn't get 5. They didn't trade up. Okay, great. This is already, for me, a non-successful night because I feel like they needed to trade Jimmy Butler to jumpstart a rebuild. I really do. And then they took Denzel Valentine forward out of Michigan State. Okay. I don't really like it. I wanted them to take Tyler Ulis. He went in the second round. I'm a little crazy. I've been wrong before, but I really like Ulis. They could have even taken Wade Baldwin the fourth, and I would have been really happy. I just don't know why you took a wing player right here. I'm just confused. I understand that if you look at it, your biggest weakness might be your small forward with only Tony Snell and Doug McDermott, but you just traded Derek. Like, you have 2 plugs at small forward in Snell and McDermott. You now have a gaping hole at point guard the size of the size of the giant donut from The Simpsons. And yeah, I just made a Simpsons reference. And then I wake up this morning, and from The Score, which is a wonderful app, by the way, apparently Gar Forman said that they did not shop Jimmy Butler. So, once again, Gar Forman trying to punk out and decreditize? I don't know. Basically, take down the credibility of every major national media source in America. And I'm sorry, I don't care. I think they shopped him. I believe what Casey Johnson and Adrian Wojnarowski and Chad Ford and Mark Stein, I believe what they said. I think you were shopping Jimmy Butler. So, Gar Forman, I'm not flinching. I don't believe you at all. Why should I believe you? And that's going to be it for part 1. Sorry for any part 1 on such a depressing thing that is the Bulls, unfortunately. In part 2, we'll talk about the rest of the draft and wrap it up. So stay tuned for that.